Hi, I'm Teray Foster, and this is 3D HealthNet. And this rack behind me is what I call my Whole Foods kitchen. It's full to the brim of dried foods that store for long periods of time. Nuts, beans, grains, seeds, vegetables, fruits. Once I figured out what the menu would be for the week, the rotating menu, Monday Mexican, Turkish Tuesday, Western Wednesday, Thai Thursday, Friday fun, Saturday seafood or seafood Saturday, and single dish Sunday, Sunday Sabbath, Sunday single dish, whatever. Then I needed to make a plan how to cook it and have it prepared ahead rather than having to learn and cook right at mealtime. I recommend that you start with breakfast because if you have a dry mix for waffles, you can start there and start eating wheat today. And nobody complains about waffles. No one will complain about a pancake or a crepe. So to get started with breakfast is easy, convenient, and the least likely to start an uproar in your home. This is why I recommend that you do the ward activity. If you're ever going to do a group activity, that you would get together, grind your wheat, mix up the pancake mix, and start eating wheat today. So let's talk about the dry mix setup first before we talk about the dry mixes. The dry mix setup is everything from this point up. Tomato powder, cheese powder, egg powder, honey powder, milk powder, butter powder. Then I have the Ezekiel bin, which are 6 different grains, and I grind them and add them to my wheat. I have ascorbic acid, calcium, and fortifiers that I can add to my bread. I have my baking essentials, yeast, and baking soda, baking powder, salt. Those are the 3 main bins in the dry mix setup. And then there's room for a second row behind. So that would be to keep your flours if you grind them ahead. You have containers to keep your own flours that you sprouted and ground. And once you have all these in place, you can make all the dry mixes in the cookbook. And what are they? We have the waffle mix that we already talked about, and that works for pancakes, crepes, muffins, funnel cakes, fritters, delicious. We have the scrambled egg mix, which would be an egg powder mixed with things that would taste yummy with scrambled eggs, which would be onions and garlic and bell peppers and some dry milk in there, just like if you were adding milk to egg, we have dry milk to dry egg. Once you have that mixed together, all you do is add water to make scrambled eggs, quiche, and other dishes with egg. Then we have the French toast mix, and that's egg powder again and milk powder, and then we add vanilla powder and honey powder and cinnamon. It makes a wonderful French toast. For dinner, we have the cheesy mix, and that's a cheese powder and milk powder and butter powder, and you put them all together, and then all you do is add water to make wonderful mac and cheese. And if you have organic noodles and whole wheat or whole grain noodles, then you can have a mac and cheese that will be delicious and nutritious. We have a flavor veggie mix, which is a mixture of dried vegetables, onion, garlic, bell pepper, celery, and you throw that in to all your mixes, and it is fabulous. We have a chili dry mix that is tomato powder and some flavor veggies such as dried onion, dried garlic, bell pepper, and chili powder, salt, and then you put it all together, and that mix can be used to add to your chili as soon as the beans are cooked. And I've cooked them in the jar, in a quart jar. Then you just add that mix to the quart jar, turn it upside down a couple times, you have chili. You can add that same mix to your refried beans. You can add that same mix to your rice to make Spanish rice. And you can add that same mix to your taco meat. If you're going to use veggie taco meat and fry it up loosely, you just sprinkle that same mix onto your veggie taco mix. Then we have an Italian mix that puts the seasonings together so that all you have to do is add that to your veggie burger and you have a sausage or an Italian meat that you could put on your pizza. We also have an Italian tomato sauce mix, which is tomato powder and then Italian seasonings. It's fabulous. All you have to do is add water and you've instantly got tomato sauce, and if you add less water, you've got tomato paste. We have a dry mix for thickening things. It's called Magic Thickening Mix, and it's flour, dry milk, butter powder, because that's what you would add if you were doing it wet. You would add milk and butter and then flour. So the same thing happens in powdered form, and it's a fabulous thickening agent. You can thicken gravy, you can make sauces, you can even make pudding. We have an egg flour mix that is freshly ground wheat, and then you add egg powder and a few other ingredients, and that makes a wonderful crepe for dinner instead of dessert. And dinner crepes are wonderful to work with. Then we have a homemade cup of soup. You can put all your dried vegetables and even add a couple extra things like nuts or seeds if you want to, and grind it in your blender, and it's a powder. And then all you do is add hot water like a cup of soup and you have a wonderful soup. But it's nutritious, has no MSG, and you can control how much salt is in there. Other specialty mixes are garlic butter mix, seasoned seed mix, which is, we have a ranch dressing mix. Then we have a couple of dessert specialty mixes. Honey butter mix, nut crunch mix, which is brown sugar, pecans, butter powder, and cinnamon. And that makes a wonderful roll, a cinnamon roll. It also makes a great topping for quick breads or muffins. So you get the idea. We have dry mixes, and they're all mixed up in different containers, and they're labeled. So all you have to do is go, what do I want to make today? And you just add water. You put a little time into the preparation, but it lasts for months, maybe even the whole year, depending on how fast you use them and how much you love them. Now we are no longer dependent on the store to provide our food, and then to find out that these things that they're providing are not all that healthy for us. They're not made with whole wheat, and they have MSG, they have aspartame, NutraSweet, things that are very, very detrimental to your health. Collecting the dry mix setup and then setting up all of those mixes, that's a process. You have to focus on it, you have to make it a big project, but maybe you can work with your kids. I've seen moms do it where they get the kids involved and they just focus on it for a period of time until they get it all done, and then from there on it's smooth sailing. I hear people say, we just don't have the money to invest in food storage. But I don't think of it as food storage. We use our food budget to buy these foods. And that's what I would recommend that you do. I would recommend that you change your house over to a Whole Foods kitchen and use your food budget that you'd already spend, but buy these foods instead of the foods that you usually buy already made and prepared for you that will be gone in a week. You spend that same money on the ingredients and it'll last a year. Invest your money wisely while you have it, because there is a time coming when there won't be food to buy and there won't be money to buy it with. We are going to try to eliminate the trips to the store by buying these wonderful foods instead. Not at the same time, not spending twice. Not spending at the store and spending food storage money. I have it set up that it is so easy to order the dry mix setup. And you don't have to think all of it through. You get large amounts of everything in the dry mix setup, so you have enough to put in your small containers right here in your kitchen, and then enough to put in your food storage as well. It will be at least a year's supply. So I encourage you to get started, get your food, start eating it today.